we're back again.
Yes. Yeah, I
Third
know.
time's the harm. That's the theme of this season.
Oh, goodness.
Goodness me.
The technical difficulties, man.
Oh man, we were supposed to start this recording at 11. It's now 5 o'clock.
Yes, I'm so sorry this video comes out late. I hope now. Hopefully we can get it out by today of
Hopefully,
Moon Knight.
hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back. Sorry
Yeah.
guys, we've been away. It's just life has been kicking our ass, but
Yeah.
we're back. So, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Really busy lately as you said. Work, school, and at least today's a special day, May the 4th. But
Happy May 4th, of course.
yeah,
Yes.
happy May 4th. I just wanted to know too, like how's everything, man? We haven't did this in a while.
It's been busy. Just got a lot of schoolwork to catch up on. Work's been okay. I mean, I've got new bosses now. They're trying to change things.
Oh, really?
But everything's all right so far. My family's good.
Great.
Um, got a lot of plans for the summer. Obviously, we're gonna have a lot of great content coming for you guys with
Yes.
Doctor Strange coming out this week, and then Obi-Wan, of course, just dropped the new trailer. So that'll start on May 27th. We'll start doing week by week episodes for that. So we apologize that we couldn't. We wanted to do week by week episodes for Moon Knight, but unfortunately our schedules kind of conflicted. So that's why we're doing a season review today. But I really enjoyed this season, so I can't wait to get into like each individual episode. And also for our Halo review, we're just gonna do a whole season review instead of doing episode by episode.
Right.
But yeah. What else is going on with you? Have you been playing anything or watching anything new?
No, I've been hella busy. No, I honestly I have been watching stuff. Like I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad, and so I've been watching Better Call Saul. A lot of like AMC stuff, just like The Walking Dead, or some stuff in like Apple TV. Um,
Akram
wh-
wants to do a Walking Bad revisited so bad for the the
Walking
show.
Bad. Yeah.
Walking Bad,
That's a
Breaking
good.
Dead.
Yeah, I know that's a good tie-in thing. Yeah, no, I do. Maybe it's in our future to possibly do that. I would love to like revisit The Walking Dead like when it finishes, like everything. I think like as an ensemble thing, like maybe perhaps the universe of it, like beyond the world beyond or whatever, Fear the Walking Dead. And Breaking Bad too. Who doesn't love Breaking Bad? Especially Better Call Saul's having its series finale pretty soon.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'd love to do that. I think from what I could tell from our analytics, I feel like you guys like the revisited episode, so I definitely want to get that in the calendar.
has AMC been putting out any new shows lately? I remember the last one I really watched was like Into the Badlands.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't remember. I mean, I haven't been watching TV lately, so I don't know what to tell you. But all I know is that they have Fear the Walking Dead.
they have like a lot of hidden gems. Like that's the thing. They have like so like again, Gangs of London. I'm a big fan of The Raid, so the director from The Raid did that. That was a while ago, but of course you have the Walking Dead stuff. But also you have like this Texas cowboy show that I want to check out eventually. It's been a dry spell, but I feel like May is gonna really pick up, especially in the summer. Like a lot of platforms is gonna pick up, especially Netflix, even if they have issues right now. But
Yeah,
yeah, and
that
then,
Dave Chappelle thing, especially that just happened
yeah,
today. Like,
right.
apparently somebody like attacked him or some shit, which made no sense because the dude apparently he had a gun shaped knife. I'm like this confused motherfucker. Like,
I,
pick one. Like, I'm not gonna
how
do any
stupid.
violence, but I'm just saying, pick a weapon.
Yeah, I know. Choose your weapon wisely. That's so stupid. I mean, they bodied that guy too. I feel like,
I
yeah,
know.
they broke his arm and like messed up his face and stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
And I know you've been following the Johnny Depp trial.
oh man, I've been watching so much of that. How you doing, Wendy? So much
The
tea.
T, what's the T?
There's so much tea, dude. But I have to say, I think a lot of people are on the same side as I am with Johnny Depp. I really do think that I feel like if you look at it closely, like if you're just a spectator there, I feel like it was just super toxic. And maybe he did do some things, but Amber for sure, I think, manipulated him so much and manipulated the situation. And in a way, it's kind of a disrespect to abuse women, right? And so this really shows, which is so coincidental, the thing that happened with Will Smith. And a lot of people are saying Jada Pinkett Smith is kind of like so like toxic femininity. And like here we see like
Mm.
a great case of that with Amber Heard, unfortunately. So
It's not talked about a lot. I
it's
mean,
not.
obviously toxic masculinity is a real thing,
Yeah.
and there are domestic abuse relationships, right?
Yeah.
But we never hear like, I guess, like the man side of things sometimes. So really like attributes to, like, it's not a one-sided coin, right?
Right.
So I really feel bad that, like he's even said, Johnny, he mentioned like no matter what the outcome of this trial is, he is going to live with those allegations like for the rest of his life, and there's nothing like anyone, because like media tends to like blow things up to like outrageous like proportions. So I really feel bad that he's gonna have to stick with that. I mean, like I think the only ones that are really supporting Amber, I guess, are her parents right now. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think everyone's kind of giving Johnny the benefit of the doubt, but still, it's hard having that kind of accusation like cling to your name.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only one like I don't know if she's gonna have like witness testimonials from apparently James Franco or something like that.
It's the
Like
last person you want
the
on your
last
team.
person. I heard Elon Musk is like supporting her because they had like a thing back then. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Elon will buy
He's
the
got
whole
the whole of
trial.
Twitter behind him. What
Right.
the fuck are they gonna do?
Like I don't know. I really don't believe her that much, and I feel like especially now it's her time to speak, and it's like she's really like uh going too hard. It just seems too fake, honestly. Yeah, it just looks so like fake.
She's
Um,
definitely gonna pull a what's her name from forgot the movie To Kill a Mockingbird.
oh, I never watched that.
That fake bitch that was on trail.
I never watched that. You see, I'm such
What, you
a
never watched that?
fucking
That's a classic, man.
yeah. I know, I know. I should watch that one day.
And you're on my ass about Chappie all the time, bro.
You still have to watch Chappie and Succession, guys. Still watch Succession. I feel like we're gonna get
I
sponsored.
got halfway through Succession. I've been really slow, but I am going to. I still have to watch Euphoria. Fuck.
Well, let me ask you something. Since the day is special, May the 4th, what did you think about the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer that just dropped?
It was really well. It gave a lot more exposition than the last trailer. So obviously we saw a little bit more of the Inquisitors. We saw a little bit more. We saw Joel Edgerton
Right.
as Uncle Owen, which is really cool. I'm glad that they're like exploring more of the universe that the comics have kind of built in the absence of like well, not the absence, but like the sequels obviously came out in Mandalorian, but really the world building so far has been through the novelizations and the comics. So I'm glad that obviously we had like Black Chrysanthemum in Boba Fett, so they're kind of like pulling from these like expanded universe media. So I think that's really cool, and we get to see like the Inquisitors live action. Um, I will admit the Grand Inquisitor does look a little weird, as you as you said. He looks like a kind of like a bucket head. But that not terrible in my opinion. But um, yeah, we get to see really like what the Empire is like at this point. We saw bits of it in Rogue One, from like the perspective of like the average citizen. But now I think really we get to understand like what the Jedi Purge was like, right?
Yeah.
And Vader is really at the forefront of this crusade. But we also get to see, like I said, like Obi-Wan's relationship with Owen, because they have a very bitter, you know, um, not relationship, but like Owen doesn't want Luke to follow in the footsteps of Anakin, obviously. But it was really interesting. I can't wait to see what it brings. They're obviously building up to this very climactic battle or rematch, as Kathleen Kennedy said, between Hayden and Ewan. So I'm glad that they're back. I wonder how they're really gonna do it, because it feels kind of weird and out of place that they would have a match this early before New Hope. But what do you think about it?
Oh yeah, well I think that I have a big feeling this is kind of gonna be like one of those stories where it's about status, you know, like I really want to see what's the
Mm.
status of Darth Vader at this moment. What's the status of remaining Jedi? Will we kind of like hear about them somehow? I mean, we had the game Jedi Fallen Order, and we did see that there's some people with midichlorians and potential Jedi around there. We still don't know. There's gonna be obviously a part two to that, so I want to see if any of those like uh narrative threads kind of bleed into Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I also want to see this badass. I hope there's like a badass scene where he finally takes out the lightsaber. Like he's using blasters a lot of times here, which is so funny because obviously it's an uncivilized weapon, right? So I can't wait to see the shock value of like him taking out a lightsaber and fighting like maybe a
Hmm.
couple of Inquisitors at the same time. But really, it's about status, and I feel like when you reach the end, probably we'll see Darth Vader fight Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's gonna be hopefully one of the best lightsaber fights that we've seen. Because one of my favorites, honestly, is Anakin versus Obi Wan in Episode 3. I think everyone could say that. So, yeah. But I love the trailer so far, and I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait for you guys to see our reviews for that as well. For week by week, we promise. We promise this time. So yeah, we'll definitely stick with us and enjoy the ride.
If promises were crackers, my daughter would be fat.
Yes, there you go. Now you gave them
Right?
gave them confidence in us.
Don't hold us to our word, but
My word is
but
my
yeah,
bond.
guys, definitely check out what we're gonna have in store for May. I'm excited, and I
Yeah.
hope you guys are having a wonderful Star Wars day and a wonderful Star Wars month as well, because every day something new. So, but let's get to this review of Moon Knight episode or season one. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. We are back and we're here for our Moon Knight season 1 review. It was definitely a trip from beginning to end. Oscar Isaac really played a very, very interesting and very divided character, and it definitely felt very disconnected from the Marvel universe, which is not bad. It felt very original in its style. But Akram, take us away with your initial thoughts of season 1.
Season 1, honestly, I thought that it would be like one of the most violentest shows that we've seen from the MCU, and honestly, it wasn't. It was actually a pleasant surprise between humor and like really dark moments, and I felt like it really was like a standalone type of thing. And I wonder if they're gonna go through with that with like Blade or like whatever else show, maybe Daredevil. Especially from the rumors that we heard about Daredevil and plus Spider-Man No Way Home. But yeah, Oscar Isaac, man, he gave it his all, and one of my favorite actors now. Honestly, he's awesome. And also a lot of the supporting cast, and I love Ethan Hawke as well. I think he was like really fun here. Um, Visuals were great too. CGI was like really really good. I didn't expect there to be so much CGI in this show. And then I realized like, damn, Marvel does a really great job. So anyway, I love the show through and through. I felt like everything was like well paced enough. Sometimes it kind of felt like What If. Remember
Mm-hmm.
season 1 when we talked about the pacing? But yeah, I love this show. So you tell us what you thought.
No, I agree with all your points. Oscar Isaac definitely. I was worried that he was gonna have trouble managing to pull off different characters because he does play technically 3 different characters, right? He
Hmm.
plays Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, and Moon Knight. So he has to not only play uh, dialogue, but he also has to play physicality and
Right.
action, right? I loved Khonshu, his relationship with Khonshu, his relationship with Layla. I'm actually glad that Layla didn't become just like another side love interest. I actually thought it was cool that she kind of became her own hero because she does. Well, she is an invented character for this show. She's not in the comics. She does play Scarlet Scarab at the end of the show, which is a character from Marvel Comics. But other than that, her character is a totally original uh, character created for this show. But it was very interesting. Like you said, like the visuals were very stunning. Yeah, this definitely feels to me like an original show. Outside of the MCU, it does take place obviously, but there was very minimal references to like the Avengers or like any of the events of the MCU. I'm not even sure like what timeline this takes place in, but I like that actually. I like that. Like I've always said, like I love that these newer shows aren't so dependent on the Avengers. They're kind of like taking on their own identity in a way. And I loved like the Egyptian mythology and like the themes that they sprinkle in this show. And it feels very like a very like Indiana Jones or like very like archaeology type of show. And we can see that. And like you say, Ethan Hawke, obviously he plays like a great villain. He really like kept my interest because I thought he was gonna be like another like throwaway like Marvel villain, but I think TV shows I think do better with villains than the actual like Marvel movies. But it was very interesting. I love the score, like all the Egyptian banger themes hit hard.
Yep.
All the graphic cards, like I love, and even like the little the songs like "Every Day I Wake," like
Right.
that. That's such like a big like TikTok like trend now. But overall, I thought it wasn't bad. I think the last episode, you and me just watched it today.
Right.
I think it was kind of rushed,
Hmm.
just in the way that they finished things. It had like a very good pacing to it, especially for like what 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So they managed to like fit a lot, and I think I kind of wanted to see Moon Knight a little more. I think we got. I didn't mind having like Steven and Mark have like these moments between each other, but I kind of wish we wanted to see Moon Knight a little bit more in action. But other than that, well, what else did you want to see?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wanted to see that. Well, I am glad at least because I did want to see. I wanted to see more of his gadgets, so I am glad that we'd kind of seen some of that, especially like a grappling hook. At one point, I wanted to see more of like Khonshu, like just like more dialogue. I thought like. The dialogue was super funny, especially Khonshu calling, either worm or idiot. I thought it was like really
And
funny to see. Yeah, I think I wanted to see honestly, like I don't know why Ethan Hawke's character was still dressed like I don't know like that. I thought he was gonna get like some armor or some shit like that. Which kind of seemed goofy at first, like when they were fighting, but it's fine. The whole show I think was really fine. It kept the mystery going, and I think that that's why it was so like addicting to watch each episode. So I feel like here it it kind of like threw me off, like how fast it went by, and it's so funny like they could have literally just put the end credits like during the actual like show while it's like going on, but they like the end credits was like the worst part of this episode, but like the best because it was like probably the best part of that episode, whereas like finally we get to see that character. But yeah, all in all, I like what's her name, Ahmed, that whatever her name
Amit,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, Ahmed. My cousin Ahmed. No, yeah, no. I thought her design was really great. I like the CGI a lot. She's like really frightening.
Hmm.
I think they did a great job. I think also representation matters a lot too in the MCU, and I feel like that's great. We have Moon Knight, and then we also have Miss Marvel. Hopefully, Miss
Hmm.
Marvel is
Yeah,
is
even
is
like the
great.
little girl saying like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" I thought
That was awesome.
that was really
Yeah,
cool.
as you said earlier, she's not just like some side love interest. She's actually a
Hmm.
superhero later on.
Although it
So
did kind of feel like copy paste Wonder Woman
na na
with
na
it.
na 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 na. I thought she was with you.
I thought she's gonna pull like a shield or some shit,
Yeah,
like a
a sword.
tiara.
Yeah, I know.
I like
It
her
was
costume though. I thought her costume
yeah,
was really cool.
yeah. It was pretty badass. It was really nice.
It
Like
didn't feel like too like Cleopatra-ish or I
I
don't know,
know.
like cheap like 90s like movie.
And what's the funny thing is like the MCU is so filled with like I don't know if it's like kind of like references to real life or like trying to like it's like a semiotic type of thing, but it's like the MCU is trying to tell you to love yourself, basically. We have Loki as
Mm.
Sylvie,
Yeah.
so everyone can get a little frisky here and there with yourself, and then now you have to love yourself, and I find that type of like narrative to be really
I want to
touching.
know your thoughts because I love episode. I don't know if it was 5 or 6. I think it started in 5 and or ended in 5 and then started in 6. So when Mark and Steven, uh obviously they die and then they go to this the underworld. Technically they're on that boat with Taret with the hippo
Yeah,
guys, and obviously they're trying to balance their scales so that they can reach the what their
feel the
Egyptian version of
reeds.
like
Yeah,
heaven basically.
yeah,
And I love this because it's like so basically Mark is getting dragged off the boat, and then Steven goes to help him, and then Steven falls overboard, and then he's stuck in the sand, and then Mark, the heart is full, and his scales are balanced basically, and he reaches heaven, and then the hippogas is like, yeah, this is your paradise, and he's like he feels like so unfulfilled, that he would rather go back to his old personality and save his other side. So tell me what you thought about that because I thought that was really interesting that he was willing to risk it all for this other half of him that he doesn't even really like.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ironic things where like people say either listen to your heart or think first, you know, and obviously his heart is supposedly fulfilled, right? It's balanced, but instead he listens to his conscience and he goes back. And it's funny because he has this mental disease, right? Where he has a different personality. So it's a very ironic thing. And in a way, it kind of matches the character because you would think that's an insane decision to go back for basically someone that doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? You're just talking to yourself. So I think it's, you know, people say listen to your heart a lot for many decisions, especially for loved or loved ones. And really it's not about the heart here. It's about his mind. Everything is an exploration of his mind, you know, dual sides or three sides, right? Which there's a character we'll talk about later. So I felt like, you know, you can't really love someone with all your heart. You kind of have to go through that experience and that journey. And I really appreciated that the whole show was like a journey, like through different countries and stuff. And they really grown on each other, which is really weird because you
Hmm.
think that no, they won't really grow on each other. Because basically Steven doesn't know who Mark is at one point. Um, so also Steven is more sincere, right? It's a different side. So I wonder what happens if he doesn't go back for Steven. Will he kind of lose this learning opportunity where like he could see life in a different perspective, right? Instead of a hard military guy.
Hmm.
Um, all of that combined, it's a really complex issue which has happened, but I find it to be really endearing as well. And again, I think the whole message here is
Self-reflection, I would imagine.
self-reflection for sure, and everything's reflected on mirrors and stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's very like semiotics, man, semiotics, right? So
I mean, like he had a very traumatic. I mean, we don't get to his backstory until like episode 5, but
yeah.
I mean, Mark is obviously a very uh damaged person, and
Mhm.
obviously Steven is a effect of that.
Yeah.
But I love their exploration in episode 5 when they're going back into his childhood and understanding how this persona grew out of this traumatic experience. And I love like even like they hint at like certain things like in the the graphic titles, like when we see the stairs, that stairs going up and down, that's like a hint, obviously, like he's going to the different floors of his childhood home, seeing his past and his relationship with his toxic mother and him. And also it kind of reminded me of Peacemaker in a way,
Mm.
when he felt responsible for his brother. So it's like that. It's kind of like a self reflection of like who he is. Does he want to be a killer all his life, or does he want to be something more out of that? So it was interesting. How did you feel about the ending when Khonshu releases him technically, but he kind of like goes back to his life. It kind of felt rushed to me in a way because we didn't see like what happened with Layla. We kind of saw what happened with Arthur, but it was kind of like um he ended up in the psych ward. Also, that didn't make sense to me how they killed off Amit so quickly because like also I didn't know why they had to imprison her in a body because she was in a stone. I forgot what they call it, like Ubshanti thing in the beginning, so why did they need her to be in a body? I don't know, it was strange, but tell me what you thought of, like, the ending of the season.
Well. First of all, credit to them too for showing that he comes from a Jewish background as well, because that happened in the comics. So I was surprised to see that since it's so like Arabic centered and stuff like
Mhm.
that, or Egyptian centered. But yeah, uh, that last part was super rushed and it threw me off guard. I was like, "Is it's over, really?" But then the end credits were like probably the best part of that supposed ending.
Yeah, because I
And
blinked, like Harold was literally about to stab him,
yeah.
and then he literally blinks, I made he made, like, the face that I made in our last episode, and then it's like he's already dead, so it's like, that was so weird, like, how they rushed it.
Well, here's the thing again, my man Jake Lockley, right? And we seen like a lot of hints of Jake throughout the show, and especially the end cards, where I think it shows like three faces, I believe. So yeah, that I didn't like that part, to be honest with you. I wanted this badass moment where we get to finally see Jake fight, you know, and see how he actually fights and how brutal he is, and we didn't see that, you know, and I didn't like that. I feel like that could have really been a powerful moment and a horrifying moment as well. But uh the end too, where he gives up the power, That was really weird because even if it's like a little trick, as we've seen in the end credits, even if it's a little trick, it's still weird to go through that little animation effect where like there's this white light. And it's like, oh, I tricked you, and it's just this
Right.
light, whatever. That was a little like silly to me. That was just I felt like that was just like for shock value. I honestly thought that Layla was gonna get to be the next Moon Knight at first temporarily, and I was gonna
Mhm.
like kick off like another season or something like that. I wonder if we're gonna see another season, honestly, because the end credit. Do you want to talk a little bit about the end credits? Um,
Might as well. So we're touching on it basically. So
yeah,
basically, at the end, we saw, of course, well, we saw Harrow. He's in the psych ward
right.
after they already like beat him to. Also, I thought it was weird too because like he's about to like kill Harrow, and he holds back.
Hmm.
And I'm like, motherfucker, you're like one of the most violent characters in Moon Knight. You killed like 25 guys in this show alone. Like,
Yeah.
what's one more guy? Like the ultimate bad guy, right? Like, why not
That was
just
the
like
one you had to kill,
that was
yeah.
the one you had to kill. So it's like, why are you all of a sudden like showing restraint? But anyway, moving on
Yeah.
from that. So we see Harrow. He's in the psych ward. He's beaten. Obviously, he still has Amit because he became the avatar of Amit. Basically, he's this very like devout follower of Amit. And then somebody takes him out of the psych ward. We see like a few like dead cops littered everywhere. And then Harrow's in this limousine with Khonshu, and Khonshu's looking fresh as fuck with
Like the
that
comics.
suit on.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that actually they
In the
took that from the
comics.
comics. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think Khonshu does have like the white suit in the comics.
Right, yeah.
And this actually I thought was interesting because they showed how much darker Khonshu is in comparison to Amit. Because we kept thinking like like Khonshu obviously he has a dark reputation, but he's more forgiving than
Right.
Amit because he rather wait for judgment. Um, than to execute punishment, right? It's just kind of like, you're guilty from the beginning, right? But then we see this scene, so it's like Khonshu, he brings Harrow in, and then he's like, oh, uh, Mark really thought that I needed Layla to be the next Avatar, but really all I needed was Jake Lockley. So we finally see the third persona of Moon Knight, which I think I forget which because there's in the comics like one is more detective-y, one is more
Jake
like of
Lockley
a
is like kind of like Batman's like, you know, underground type of guy that just like kind
right.
of spies on people. He's a taxi cab driver, so here obviously he's a limousine
Right,
driver,
and
which is
he's even
cool.
got the cap too from the
Yeah.
comics, which I
Right.
thought was a cool little throwback.
Right.
So Jake Lockley is the very it's almost like the Beast from Split, kind of like this is the persona that you don't want to fuck with. So
Right.
so he's kind of like Conchu's like hitman in a way.
Hmm.
So then he kills Harrow, and I thought that was kind of like a kill away character at that moment because I kind of wanted to see more of Arthur because I thought he was like such a great villain. Um, So that happens, and then it's just like cut, and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, Steven and Mark have a better relationship now, and they kind of think they're free, but they're not really free. So Khonshu really like shows his darker half in the end credit scene. But I kind of wanted to see more. I kind of want to see Moon Knight like accept his role as a protector, and then maybe he does like he fights crime. I don't know, maybe in London or New York, wherever he decides to go. But I don't know. What did you think of how it ended?
Well, I so Mark gave up on that. Like, I don't want to kill this guy, and he kind of like listened to what Steven. And first of all, Steven had like amazing like fighting skills later on. I was so shocked to see Mr.
I know
Knight
where did he
actually
pull that
fight.
from? He was just like all of a
I was
sudden
like,
he's a
damn.
badass now.
Yeah, that was crazy. But um, Steven unlocked that side where he's more courageous, right, on the boat. And so I think Mark kind of like through the journey unlocked this humanity. And I feel like the ending kind of matched Mark. It was stupid though, like you kind of had to kill Harold. That's the one person you had to kill, but at the same time too, he learned something along the journey, and he doesn't want his like what is it? The ledger they say is like dripping red, like or whatever, like in Black Widow.
Hmm.
But Jake, on the other hand, looks like he likes getting dirty, right? And so that's why he's like the perfect Moon Knight. And so I feel like this really sets up like a future for Moon Knight later on, but it hasn't been announced. Like they didn't even do the Loki thing where it says, Moon Knight season 2 will be or Moon Knight will be back or something like that. There was no tease, so
Hmm.
I really wonder what's going to happen because the contracts are different for Marvel now. Everyone kind of signs on for one project, and we'll see later on. So, but I feel like
I think it's in the cards.
yeah,
I
for
think it's in the
sure.
cards definitely, but I think they wanted to see like what the general consensuses of season one before they commit to season two. So I think like with Loki, that's different because it ended on such a cliffhanger that
Yeah.
they were like, okay, we have to continue this story. And Loki is like, he always comes back anyway.
Yeah.
But Moon Knight is a very new character that they're introducing to this universe. So I think they want to see like how the audience would I guess react to this character before. But I definitely think they're definitely gonna do something with him in the future.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Yeah. So I like the series overall. I thought, is it one of my favorites? I still put Loki up there. But it's definitely like close. I think this is probably my second favorite series. And probably like Falcon and Winter Soldier or Hawkeye will take third. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
a lot of people were saying it's like one of the best or
Uh-huh.
the best show that Marvel's.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say the best. It's good. I do like it, but I think it had. I mean, compared to like I don't know, because like WandaVision and Loki were really good. Falcon and Winter Soldier definitely touched on a lot of like social political aspects, which I thought were really relevant. Um, but it's not bad. Definitely not bad. I think Marvel Television really has come a long way, and they're upping the scales more and more with each show. I wonder how we always talk about like continuity, how this is going to add or subtract to the larger universe. Is Moon Knight going to be part of a larger team? Is he going to have like maybe like a crossover with somebody down the line? Who knows?
Yeah.
Or he could just do his own solo thing. I mean, that I'm fine with that as well. He could
Right.
have like his own like little I don't know Batman Crusade or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the show for what it was. I think the motifs and the themes really hit hard, like the psychology themes, but also like a mix of like archaeology
Hmm.
and Egyptian mythology. I think those Marvel always finds a way to make motifs like stick out, which I really like the Shang-Chi theme. Like they always like bring back the old like kung fu movie themes like with that. So I thought that was really cool that they incorporated, a lot of Egyptian mythology to the show.
For sure.
But how would you grade this show?
Out of 1 to 10, I honestly would give it like a nice 9, like nearly going on 10. Just because I had a blast with it. I feel like some shows you just need to have a blast with it, and it wasn't like a dull, hollow show as well. So that's why I would give it like a 9, a good 9. I feel like for me, Loki really. I feel like for a Marvel show, you really have to kind of add something to the universe sometimes, at least like a little bit. And I feel like at least this added Egyptian gods, which I was always wondering about because we had Norse. So yeah, I would give it a 9. How about you?
I would say maybe 8.5 or 9. There were a few inconsistencies I thought were weird, like why Jake Lockley didn't go to the underworld with Mark and Steven if they're in the same body.
Mm,
I thought that was a little weird, but maybe it's
right.
because Mark doesn't know yet about Jake Lockley. Maybe he's just like that hidden thing in the back of his mind.
Yep.
There's just like a few inconsistencies. And yeah, definitely the ending felt rushed to me. Um, I'll give it a 9. I think it was a solid 9 for me. It wasn't my favorite, but it definitely wasn't bad.
Right.
So definitely, if it's up there, kind of like with the Defenders for me in a way, because the Defenders kind of had their own identity. They eventually tied in with each other, but in the early Defender series were more about the heroes, and I think that's what Moon Knight emulates. It's really more about him than the bigger universe. So it's a good starting point if they want to branch out, and then maybe he becomes more, and we can see like more of his characters. Maybe we'll see more of Layla as Scarlet Scarab if she chooses to stick with this avatar. But I really liked it for what it was, so I can't wait to see more of what's to come. And then obviously we have Doctor Strange
Yes.
coming, so I can't wait to see that. I don't know if you got your tickets already,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I can't wait.
I'm seeing it this weekend.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
because you've been spoiling it on Instagram for me,
If you
so I
guys want
have to see it
spoilers,
now.
hey, if you guys want spoilers, come to at Green
Avoid
Steel.
sport like Akram like the plague.
Avoid me like the scarab plague. No, yeah, it's gonna be wild. I'll just say that I read the whole plot, so it's gonna be a wild ride, and I can't wait to review it for you guys. So again, stick
And we
with
have
us.
the Thor: Love and Thunder movie also. The
Oh,
trailer
yeah.
for that
Yeah.
dropped recently, so I can't wait for that too. Guardians of the Galaxy
Yep.
has their holiday special too. So Marvel's in a good place right now. They're in talks right now about what they want to do for, I believe it's Phase 5.
Ooh.
So I think they're having a retreat right now. What they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I'm kind of like in a phase where like I don't need any more Marvel
I'm
in
not.
my life.
I'm not. No.
I don't like. I'll enjoy. I'll watch. Trust me, I will watch every thing that comes out till the day I die. But I'm kind of
Yeah.
in the mindset where like I'm okay. I'm content with after Endgame and Spider-Man. But
I
I
need
know
more.
yeah, you're like Amit. You're like sucking all the Marvel content.
I need it. I need it. I watch this like a soap opera. Honestly, it has to go on forever. I'm enjoying it, and plus
The
it
show
evolves.
must go on.
Yeah, show must go on.
The industry is always evolving.
Hell
as they say.
yes. Hell yes.
But thank you guys for tuning in to our review for Moon Knight, and we have a lot more content, as we've said, coming out this May. So definitely stick around. I can't wait to cover a lot of these great new movies and shows coming out. And if you haven't watched our previous episodes already, we've covered a lot of shows already, like Book of Boba Fett, Peacemaker, What If, all these other great Disney Plus shows. And then make sure you're following us on YouTube, Anchor, and you can follow our Instagram page as well, where we always post clips of our episodes. But thank you again, guys, for joining us. And until then, thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys.
Just cut to like the Arabic music.
No. I'm mad we'll probably still get copyrighted for that. I would still do that though. I wish.